Good evening and welcome to Keep Britain Tidy's Network Awards for 2021. Things very different this year, of course. Sadly, no delicious dinner, no swanky venue, just little old me in my virtual world. In the real world, of course, we've all lived through an exceptional year of unparalleled challenges. But much good work has still gone on, and that is why we at Keep Britain Tidy were so keen to ensure that work should still be recognised and this award ceremony should go on as planned, if a little different. Of course, things very different to how they were back in February of 2020 when we all gathered in Birmingham to heap applause and plaudits on those achievers. But I'm sure that you'll be whooping and hollering at home or wherever you're watching this tonight, and perhaps cracking open the odd bottle too. Well, McElwain is the Deputy Chief Executive of Keep Britain Tidy. He joins me now from KBT HQ in Wigan. And Rich, it has to be said that despite all the difficulties, there's been no shortage of entries this year.
Yes, Dave, absolutely. We were thrilled to see so many entries coming in across all 10 categories and from all parts of the country: North West, North East, Midlands, South West, South East. It was incredibly difficult to shortlist down to 3 in each category, but shortlist we have. I'm very much looking forward to seeing who the winners are, but from me and from everybody at Keep Britain Tidy, the very best of luck to everybody who's applied tonight, and I hope you enjoy this awards digital evening.
Thanks, Rich. Well, we've 10 categories tonight, so 10 of these trophies to give away. Don't worry, the real ones aren't quite this big. They'll fit snugly into your trophy cabinet or on your mantelpiece, and we will, of course, make sure that certificates and trophies get out to the winners just as quickly as possible. Well, our first category tonight is for community engagement. Of course, most projects we're all involved in rely on getting the community behind them, getting them to participate and see the value of what's being done. So we've got 3 nominees in this first category. They are Northumberland County Council, Walsall Council and Wyre Council.
Northumberland are nominated for their work at Eastwoods Park, Prudhoe. Green Spaces officer Sam Talbot and his colleagues worked in partnership with the local community to turn around the fortunes of the former Miners' Welfare Park. It had lain unloved and neglected for years, and such has been the transformation that this year it won a coveted Green Flag Award. Walsall made it to our final 3 thanks to Litter Watch. The council employed 2 volunteer coordinators to help tackle litter and support volunteers. They've inspired more than 90 local litter picking events, and their volunteers have come from all age groups and all parts of the community. And finally, Wyre Council is cited for their Rill Street and Hesketh Place alley transformations. The team's first attempt to involve locals in renovating these rather unloved alleyways fell flat because it came just as the first lockdown arrived. Undeterred, they revived their efforts after lockdown and managed to inspire locals and local businesses to support the initiative.
All very worthy contenders there, but of course there has to be one winner, and that winner is Walsall Council for Litter Watch. You must have been surprised at the way the people of Walsall really got behind what you've been doing there.
Yes, makes mine and my colleague Beth's job role so much easier, knowing that we've got the support and the enthusiasm of all the local residents. Before we started, there was around about 16 community groups. We've actually been able to double the amount of litter picking groups. It's great to be able to come in and just see the impact that we've had.
Well done. We'll get that trophy to you as soon as possible. Well, I suppose one positive thing that came out of the lockdowns was that many people rediscovered their local parks. Parks they may not have visited for ages, but they then use them for their daily exercise. Each year, of course, Keep Britain Tidy celebrates the very best of Britain's parks with Love Parks Week. And tonight, we're celebrating the best of the best. So, the contenders for this award are Huntingdonshire District Council, Doncaster Council and Manchester City Council.
Huntingdonshire certainly found use of their parks rocketed this year, so they set about making those parks as welcoming as possible. But they educated people on how to use them responsibly and safely, investing in CCTV to ensure any antisocial behaviour was nipped in the bud. Manchester too responded to a spike in park patronage in various ways. They installed COVID-safe litter picking drop-in stations, supported group litter picks and ran a social media campaign reminding people not to litter PPE in parks and open spaces. Doncaster's emphasis was on naturalising parks. In particular, they concentrated on enhancing the biodiversity of the area. They allowed the grass to grow, which encouraged pollinators. Importantly, they communicated what they were doing to the local community, which in turn earned them many plaudits.
Just three of so many wonderful parks to be found up and down the country, but we had to pick the best of the best, and that winner is Huntingdonshire District Council. How easy or difficult did you find it to persuade people to use their parks responsibly?
I think we've had a really positive year in terms of kind of the amount of people in our park. So, you know, obviously we've had an increase, which is brilliant. And like you say, it can be difficult to persuade people to act responsibly. We've seen kind of an uptake in reporting to us about littering. And I think people are a lot more inclined to report it because they've been in their outdoor spaces a lot more and they value that space a lot more.
Well, in an ideal world, people would automatically follow the rules and the law. Sadly, we don't live in an ideal world. Sometimes individuals and indeed organisations need to be reminded of their responsibilities, and if they fail to heed those reminders, well, they have to be taken to task. And that's the job of the enforcers. And it's their work that we're celebrating in our next award. The Excellence in Enforcement Award has nominees from the London Borough of Hounslow, Wirral Borough Council and Thurrock Council.
Anita leads the Special Waste Service Enforcement team at Hounslow. She's inspired that team to stay focused and maintain a meticulous approach to combating environmental crimes. Letters from satisfied residents testify to their success in targeting fly-tipping hotspots. Philippa Jones was described as an outstanding pupil on the Keep Britain Tidy Enforcement Academy training scheme. She showed exceptional understanding of environmental enforcement powers. Colleagues say her creativeness and motivation provides a stimulus for thinking outside the box. Thurrock Council's environmental enforcement team rose to the challenge of this most challenging of years by constantly improving performance and delivering excellent results. They've provided rapid response to fly tipping and graffiti issues and have greatly increased the number of fixed penalty notices handed out.
So the award for Excellence in Enforcement goes to Philippa Jones from Wirral. Well done. Now, Philippa, which approach do you prefer? The carrot or the stick? Persuasion or getting tough?
I think it depends on what you're dealing with. So if it's a small crime, probably trying to educate them first. But if it's something big, say like fly tipping, I'd probably go straight for the enforcement route for that one.
What is it about your job that you enjoy the most?
I love investigating things. So if there's something big that we get to investigate, that's the main part of the job for me.
Congratulations. Well, of course, we all rely on efficiency when it comes to having our rubbish dealt with. Effective waste performance, especially in recent months. We've all been drowning under a sea of Amazon boxes at home as we've been shopping online. So our next award recognises excellence in waste performance. So, which of these nominees will nab the crown? Will it be Cheshire West and Chester Council, the City of London, or Westminster City Council?
Cheshire West and Chester Council shortlisted for its Poets' Corner project. The Poets' Estate have very low participation in recycling and high volumes of black bags presented on both collection day and at other times. The waste management team worked with other council services to inform and educate residents. The personal approach, doorstepping residents, has had a real effect. The City of London's Plastic Free City initiative targets the business community in the square mile. The City offers businesses a framework of actions to reduce or eliminate single-use plastics from their operations. Between April 2019 and April 2020, it's said to have prevented the use of around 17 million plastic cups, glasses and takeaway bowls. Westminster City Council's food waste recycling trial was launched last year, covering 7,000 homes. It was well publicised and its aims communicated effectively to local people. Over a 12-month period, almost 300 tonnes of food waste was recovered for recycling, 300 tonnes that would otherwise have ended up in general waste.
3 excellent nominees there, but there has to be a winner, and that winner is Westminster City Council. And I believe other places have now been looking at what you've done in Westminster and are taking that up themselves.
Yes, so we launched our trial in November 2019, and it gave us a great opportunity to find out if we were to roll out the service across Westminster, how it would work operationally in terms of communications and in terms of container provisions. So this information will be useful for other local authorities in urban areas.
Yeah, but one thing that's always interested me is what on earth do you do with recycled waste food? We all know what happens to plastic or cardboard, but what on earth do you do with food?
So it's really useful. So our crews collect the food waste and they take it to an anaerobic digestion plant in Hertfordshire. And essentially there's 2 products from the process. One is biofertiliser, which is used on local farmland, and then it's also used as a form of renewable energy.
Well done, Westminster. Well, we move on now to an award which always throws up such remarkable stories about individuals and groups who go that extra mile to improve the places where they live. It is, of course, our Litter Heroes Award. In the running for the award this year are Cornwall Council's Beach Guardian, the London Borough of Barking and Dagenham's Roading Rubbish Group, and from Croydon, Violetta Okaru.
Cornwall's Beach Guardian was co-founded by father and daughter duo Rob and Emily Stevenson. They wanted to spread the anti-plastic pollution message far and wide. They've organised over 200 community clean-up events and engaged with over 14,000 school children at schools across the southwest. The London Borough of Barking and Dagenham's Roading Rubbish Group are true litter heroes. Despite the restrictions of the past year, they've remained focused on a shared mission to keep the borough clear of rubbish. They've managed to convince their community it isn't just a job for the local council, but for the community as a whole. Violetta Okaru is one of Croydon's first Clean and Green Street champions. She's an enthusiastic advocate for the council's Don't Mess with Croydon, Take Pride campaign. She undertakes weekly lone litter picking activities and supports others in doing the same.
Well done to her and of course all of our nominees. There can be only one winner though, so who's going to scoop the Litter Heroes Award? It is Cornwall's Beach Guardian. Well done. How have you managed to maintain momentum and public interest during the lockdowns?
During 2020, nature was our only true constant. So we were able to take that momentum and turn it into positive actions.
So Emily, it seems as though you're saying you don't really find it that difficult to inspire people to get involved.
We don't really have to do any of the work in interesting people in it because people are already so in touch with nature because of what we've been through over the past year. Fortunately or unfortunately, I will be doing this for the rest of my life.
It's a beautiful part of the world. You're making it even better. Thanks very much indeed. Now, of course, 2020 was the year when we all had to start thinking outside the box and rearranging just about every aspect of our lives. It became obvious early on that the traditional Great British Spring Clean organised by Keep Britain Tidy simply wasn't going to happen. So they decided to move it to September and rename it the Great British September Clean. Our next award celebrates those who did particularly well at putting a spring into the September Clean. The nominees are Dacorum Council, Buckinghamshire Council and Corby Borough Council.
Dacorum made its call to arms for the September Clean as far-reaching as possible. They contacted their regular year-round litter-picking volunteers, more than 100 volunteers who'd signed up to the Street Champion scheme, plus scout groups and local councillors. They're planning to take the momentum generated by the September Clean to revamp the Street Champion scheme and further promote litter picking and community action. Buckinghamshire have been all geared up for the big spring clean but decided to make the September version bigger and better. They sent out masses of messages to every organisation they could think of and distributed free safety equipment. The result, an inspirational, socially distanced September spruce up for Buckinghamshire. Corby Borough Council compiled a proactive social media campaign to encourage local communities to get involved. They also developed local branding, focused on creating a relevant localised campaign and connected with residents, groups and businesses to generate localised community action.
So, who's cleaned up with this award? Well, it is Buckinghamshire Council. Well done. I suppose you had to think creatively about how you were going to get the message across and muster as many people as possible in September.
Yes, we had to think creatively for it. We actually ended up having more groups signed up to do it the second time round compared to the first time in March when we had our own big communications push just before then as well.
So the delay to the spring clean actually worked in a positive way for you?
Indeed, yeah. It was a massive success. We ended up with over 30 groups in total, many of which were new groups as well. We quite often have regular volunteers who come back to us and litter pick, and they do some fantastic work. But what was fascinating was that new groups have been set up and new forums where people wanted to get out and help in their local community.
Well done again. Now, those of us of a certain age may remember a song that started with the words, "I believe that children are our future." Yes, it's a bit cheesy, I know, but it is actually very true. And our next award celebrates the eco-warriors of the future. It is, of course, the Young Litter Heroes Award, and we've got 3 cracking nominees.
Representing Hull is Freya Ryan. From the Cheshire West and Chester area, Isabella and Elena Dunn. And from Fairford, Heather Kent. Freya was inspired to form Hull's litter squad during the first lockdown. She started by completing an hour's litter picking as part of her daily walk. She's since put tireless efforts in to clean up the streets near her home in West Hull. And she's roped in around 50 active members. The number's growing all the time. Of course, they always work with adult supervision. Isabel and Eleanor Dunn went on a New Year's Day nature walk with their family and were appalled to find the scenery ruined by the remnants of a party. They decided to clear it up and have since been keen to get involved in as many other projects as they can. Heather Kent became an eco-warrior at the age of 8. By the age of 10, she'd organised a litter pick around her hometown in Fairford every day for each day of the 40 days for Lent. She was sponsored for charity and did the same in 2019 and 2020. Heather also uses social media to encourage others to join her on her litter routes.
Well, I'm glad I'm not a judge and had to pick one out of that bunch. Some truly inspirational young people there. But the judges have picked a winner, and I can tell you that Keep Britain Tidy's Young Litter Hero for 2021 is Freya Ryan from Hull. Congratulations, Freya. You've done some fantastic work. And just tell me a bit about those rocks that you were painting.
Well, we just wanted to spread a message about stop dropping litter. So we painted some rocks and then we put them all around the place. And we painted about 20. And in the summertime, some of the kids in Litter Squad also painted them and spread them about as well.
So why did you decide to set up the Litter Squad?
Well, once we were just walking down the street and we saw how much litter there was, and we just thought it has to stop. All the litter is spreading out everywhere and it can really hurt these creatures, and we don't want that to happen.
Well done again. Now, there's an old saying that there is no I in team or indeed in crew, and our next award aims to prove that. It celebrates teams or crews who work together for the common good. And the nominees for Team or Crew of the Year come from Leicester City Council, Wigan Council and North East Lincolnshire District Council.
As we know, Leicester found itself locked down for most of 2020, but the City Warden Service and Environmental Crime Team have worked above and beyond, rising to all the challenges facing them during these unprecedented times. In addition to maintaining the fight against environmental crime, they also volunteered to help colleagues in other council departments, from staffing COVID testing stations to checking that citizens adhered to COVID restrictions. Wigan decided to put forward a team who they say are often forgotten at award ceremonies, their environmental education and enforcement admin workload partners. This team of two, Joanne and Paula, helps other teams to function. They always go the extra mile and ensure the most urgent cases are seen and responded to quickly. On the nomination form, their boss described them as a force to be reckoned with. North East Lincolnshire Council's Environmental Services team are said to be the heroes on the doorstep. During a period of great uncertainty, they banded together and found innovative ways to deliver their services, such as waste, recycling and street cleaning. On top of this, they also managed the introduction of 2 new recycling bins at 73,000 homes across the borough. A big enough job at any time, let alone in the middle of a pandemic. They even found time to bring festive cheer to the local recycling centres.
The winner of our Team or Crew of the Year award is Wigan's small but perfectly formed services support duo. Well done on that. Were you surprised when your boss nominated you?
I was really surprised that first admin team has been nominated, been put forward, and we got nominated.
Yeah, because admin things never get recognised, so it was a bit of a shock. Yeah,
it's wonderful. It's really good. Real news that we put forward for it.
Now, of course, the battle against litter has gone on for many years, generations even, and I suspect it will do for many years to come, sadly. So creativity and innovation is always important in keeping the fight fresh, and our next award recognises that fact. It's our Litter Initiative of the Year award. And the innovators in contention for this year are Malvern Hills District Council, Dorset Council and the London Borough of Islington.
The Malvern Hills Adopt a Street initiative encouraged residents to adopt the street where they live or a chosen area to litter pick and report issues to make it cleaner, tidier and a safer place to live. Once signed up, residents were encouraged to keep up the good work with frequent contact through newsletters and the like, and it all marries in with a number of other anti-litter strategies undertaken by the council. Dorset Council's initiative wanted to remind people that barbecues burn more than bangers. It focused on the potential dangers of using barbecues on heathland and encouraged safe use and disposal of barbecues at designated barbecuing spots only. The council worked with other partners to mount an online social media campaign, and key messages were presented using banners, posters and radio broadcasts. Islington Council's Recycling on the Go initiative is said to have been a clear success. They worked with suppliers to develop a bespoke range of on-street litter and recycling on-the-go bins. They have see-through panels and 300 have been rolled out across the borough, improving overall recycling rates.
Some great initiatives there, but there can be only one winner, and that winner is the Adopt a Street initiative from Malvern Hills District Council. Well done on that. I guess the secret isn't just about recruiting people and getting them to join in, it's about maintaining their interest and their enthusiasm.
Absolutely. I mean, what we don't want is for people to sign up and volunteer. We give them the kit and then they never hear from us again. And the thing that we think is the most important is to keep them engaged and keep them part of our team. So we send out regular newsletters. We've set up a Facebook page so people can share their ideas, they can share their litter picks. We've had a bigger intake probably since lockdown than we would have imagined normally.
Well, congratulations and well done again. And so to our final award of the evening. It's the Award for Outstanding Service Delivery. This year, above all others, has been the year where we've seen so many people prepared to go that extra mile to provide the services which people need to make their lives function. We're going to celebrate those people with this, our final award of the evening. So, the nominees for the Outstanding Service Award are Ashfield District Council, the London Borough of Redbridge and Charnwood Borough Council.
Ashfield is in the running for this award for the way neighbourhood services responded during the first UK lockdown. Flexibility and hard work ensured the area's 120,000 plus residents received an uninterrupted and in some cases enhanced service. Redbridge formed civic pride teams to tackle the issues raised by the pandemic. For instance, a huge increase in fly tipping during lockdown. There was improved coordination between street cleansing operatives, enforcement officers and neighbourhood teams. There's now better management of data to streamline information and better interpretation of data, which means more efficiency and maximum impact. Charnwood Borough Council's Enviro Crime team went back to the future to rethink working practices during lockdown. Normal admin procedures for dealing with reports of issues weren't possible, so officers visited properties, knocked on the door and stood at a social distance to speak to residents directly about the problems their properties were posing. They also left them with a letter outlining what had been said, saving admin and eliminating the excuse of, "Oh, never received your letter."
So, the winner of the award for outstanding service delivery is Redbridge. Congratulations to you. They do say that necessity is the mother of invention. Some of the things that you've come up with this year going to stay in place? Have you actually found processes and systems that will be usable once the pandemic's over?
Absolutely. Because we were forced out of our comfort zone, we had to try new things. And what we discovered was that we could be confident to do more together so that we could achieve more together. Good news is sometimes feels like hard to come by at the moment, but this is really good news for us, and it's lovely to be recognised for all of this work that we've done this year.
You're right, we all need some good news at the moment. Congratulations again. And that brings us to the end of this very unusual Network Awards ceremony. Much as I've enjoyed being in my virtual world, I hope that this time next year we can meet up in a real venue with me on a real stage so that I can congratulate you all personally on your achievements. I'd like to thank our sponsors for their continued support and to thank Rachel, Amy, Anne and the team at Keep Britain Tidy for getting all of this together. Thanks to everyone who submitted an entry, especially in these difficult times. We know it takes time to do it and we do appreciate you taking that time. Anyway, here's to next year, here's to all being together, and until then, please do stay safe. I'll see you around.